Hi, Andrew McKeever here, News Director at GNet TV's News Project. Earlier today we had Oliver Olsen, the state representative from 5 mountain towns, and Seth Bongartz, the chairman of the Board of Trustees at Burn-Burton, in for a talk about school choice. That's an issue that's popped up suddenly again as a burning question, one might say, since the State Board of Education last July decided to make some rule changes around how tuition payments would be made to independent schools, basically requiring that they followed all the same rules that public schools have to follow. So we had Seth and Oliver in for a longer chat, which will be on the air next week, following the week following the election. You'll be able to watch the entire interview then. But here's a segment from that we thought was kind of interesting. That sort of highlighted the main questions that were involved.
How would these rule changes affect Burn-Burton?
Well, Burn-Burton is an independent school, so Burn-Burton is one of the schools in the crosshairs, if you will. And we have a 180-year relationship with our towns. We've built a climate and culture with our towns over the course of those 180 years, in a climate of trust and interaction, that this would absolutely blow up. We would no longer, they're really saying Burn-Burton can no longer be an independent school. Burn-Burton can't be the school that's educated kids in the way that we have for the last 180 years. And that we would, for instance, the board would have to dissolve. And there would have to be an elected board. That would undermine entirely the ability to conduct fundraising the way that Burn-Burton has, and the trust in the climate and culture that's led to our ability to raise the kind of money that Burn-Burton's been able to raise and provide the kind of education we've been able to provide without without having to charge taxpayers for that. It's really quite remarkable what we've been able to accomplish under the system that we operate now. We also, as Oliver mentioned, we have teachers who are not certified teachers. They're fabulous teachers. We've got administrators that are not certified administrators. We've been able to bring in people from the community from time to time to help teach classes where they have. My father taught drafting at Burn-Burton for years. He's not a certified teacher. He wasn't a certified teacher. And yet he provided something that nobody else could have provided at the time. That's actually a minor example. The bigger problem is that we've got a system now that does not rely on all certified teachers and certified administrators. And if you look beyond Burn-Burton, so by the way, Burn-Burton is an independent school. That's not going to change. So really what the State Board of Education is doing is saying that if these rules go forward as they are currently being promulgated, they are saying most of the kids who are not come to Burn-Burton can no longer come to Burn-Burton. That's what's at stake here.
And that's what also would be at stake at other schools like Long Trail or Maple Street, Mountain School, Edwin Hall, and then Stratton Mountain School.
All over Vermont.
Those would all apply. Well, let me just play devil's advocate then for a second. On the surface, the notion that an independent school accepts public money, has to operate by public rules, doesn't seem like what is unreasonable about that, I guess. If you're getting the overwhelming amount of your budget from public taxpayer funds, shouldn't there be some requirement that we follow the same rules that other public schools have to follow?
So every year at town meeting, the towns that the school districts that send students to Burn-Burton and these other schools, every year these towns are voting to adopt and agree to pay the tuition that Burn-Burton is charging these districts. So, you know, there's a common myth out there that somehow, you know, the school districts are getting a bill and they have, you know, no say over it, and that's just, you know, that's just not true. You know, every one of our, you know, sending towns is making a conscious decision every town meeting to continue to invest in their children's education by agreeing to pay the tuition that Burn-Burton is charging. So I think it's, you know, this whole notion is really, you know, simply a red herring.
For the GNet TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.